Hello and welcome to another day of the Global Littlewargame League 2024. We're here with a match in the Beta League today. First off, I'm just going to take a look at the map pool once again, just to remind you, I do this every single video, but it's going to be the ranked map pool with the addition of Thieves' Isle. Here's what Beta League looks like. And today we're going to be looking at the matchup between Joshers09 and elbarto. Some excellent players here. We've got Joshers, who is quite flexible, actually. Surprised everyone at the Pro League series, especially in Pro League Season 3. He was a breakout performance out of nowhere, doing extremely well. And then we also have elbarto, a longtime veteran, has been around for forever, is pretty strong. Definitely a solid player, plays a lot of racks, that sort of thing. And yeah, let's take a look at the match. It's going to be hopefully a banger. The first map is going to be, let me just get into it. The first map is going to be on Cursed Temple. And let's hop straight into it. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map, in the red pieces, it's going to be elbarto. And in the far right-hand side, bottom right-hand side corner, it's Joshers. Joshers09, the 9th iteration. And already we have a little bit of something cheeky, it looks like. We have a worker scout. No, it looks like unlikely to be a worker scout. Looks like some sort of proxy going to be on the menu for elbarto. I do wonder what this is going to be. I really don't think elbarto is one of those guys who proxies a lot. He doesn't strike me as the guy to try to do some sort of all-in. So this could be something that Joshers is not prepared for. But at the same time, one thing to note is that this map is very, very short in rush distance-wise. So you could theoretically just go across the map, across this bridge, very, very quickly, and scout your opponent's main. It's less of an investment compared to many other maps, so potentially something that Joshers could do on this map and figure elbarto out. Is going to start a racks all across the map, and so is Joshers. So it looks like it might be a proxy 2 racks or something like that. One thing you can do with this is that you can finish building one, build a raider and also a second racks at the same time. You could also do like send 2 workers, but it's like a bit of give and take. You lose a little bit of mining in the early game if you do send 2 workers. Yeah, it's not a huge difference, but instead elbarto going for a racks at home as well. So a little bit of a criticism to elbarto is I feel like if you had sent the worker a little bit later and gotten this racks first and then this racks later, then it would have been a little bit harder for the opponent to scout, right? So let's say if Joshers did go for a worker scout, then you would have seen the racks at a regular timing and be like, okay, that's totally fine. And he would have been completely blindsided, in my opinion. Looks like Joshers is going to go for the Archer build. So the Archer build is a little bit less meta than the Raider Expand, as most people do. But in general, I'd say it's a pretty good build. Generally, the idea of this is that you go up to 2 archers and then a castle, and then you go for a big number of archers, namely 5 against racks and 7 against beast, and you just march across the map. The reason you get 5 is you can 2-shot workers. The reason you get 7 is you can 2-shot wolves. So those are the magic numbers for archers when dealing damage with no upgrades. We have a raider on the way and we have an archer on the way. Yeah, so it looks like elbarto really wants to sell this sort of raider expand sort of idea. I feel like if he wanted to do that, I think if he had gotten this racks first and this racks second, it would have been a little bit better. But let's take a look at what this is going to be. So elbarto is going to have 2 racks worth of production versus just 1. But it's not going to be easy for Joshers to hold. Yes, it is going to be easy in the sense that he already has a good number of archers. You can pull some workers to defend. But at the same time, a raider expand gives you a better chance of actually scouting what's going on across the map, and information is definitely key. If you look at the current unit count, you have 2 archers and a raider versus 2 archers, and that's definitely holdable. So elbarto doesn't want to go in too prematurely before his production really kicks in, but at the same time, if you wait too long, then Joshers does get the castle up, does get the advantage, and he should be fine. So Joshers needs to know that this Raider is actually slower than it normally is. Perhaps he knows it, perhaps he doesn't. He's also going for a Wolf stand just off the bat, which is really interesting. This is something that has been in the meta more or less recently. I believe I mentioned it in my previous cast, but I believe the first time I really saw it in high-level play was Haffy against AC in Pro League Season 3. But this is also something that a lot of people are thinking about using or trying out at least. Here comes the push. It's 4 archers and a raider. I think this is not enough. There's a 5th archer coming. We already have 4 archers here for Joshers. He's going to pull the workers. Good target fire onto that raider. Is going to barely not survive. This is only 4 archers though. That means it cannot 2-shot these workers. Maybe he should have waited a little bit longer. And with the worker pull, excellent pullback micro out of Joshers. Going to try to save every single worker. So far, the units gone down is absolutely 0 for Joshers. Make that the first one down, but that means all of these archers are going to be traded out in response. Also, wolves are coming in. XD says elbarto and GG, well played, and an absolutely masterful hold out of Joshers. Didn't have the information other than perhaps that raider coming in a little bit late. Did get a wolf stand, but only made a single wolf out of it. Other than that, he just held it absolutely beautifully with the archer build, the 2 archer expand. So well done for Joshers. That was a quick game 1. Let's head into game 2 after I do the ratings. There we go. Production value. And we'll look at game number 2 on Silent Fjord. All right. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map. After a failed cheese, does he have something else planned, or is he going to try to go for a macro game this time around? It's elbarto. And in the top right-hand side of the map, showing some masterful control and an excellent hold, it's Joshers. One thing I do want to note is that if Joshers did go for a Raider expand, that would have been significantly harder to defend. Generally, it's a lot harder to defend because you don't have that range advantage. You don't, like, if you pull the workers and the raiders, like they're both melee units, right? Yes, you can flash with the raiders and stuff to try to get a bit of a surround. Also, raiders are pretty squishy. Yes, they can regen, and that's really important if the fight goes long. But in a quick fight where you're like absolutely trying to hold right now, it's a lot harder. This time, Josh is going to be the one being a little bit cheeky. He's going to proxy a Rax in the middle of the map. This is a very nice location for a proxy, by the way. The one downside is that it can potentially be scouted if maybe, like, I don't know, some sort of, if he does scout, like, not going straight across the middle of the map. Because sometimes if you go for like a 2-den or something, you generally want to like scout on the sides a little bit just to wait for 3 wolves, just to, you know, do a little bit of scouting for any sort of proxy. But that's not what's going on in this game, so not going to matter too much. I think this is a great location. It also overlooks a little bit of that middle ground, which gives Joshers a little bit more of information. Maybe I would have preferred to have put it a little bit closer to the edge to get a little bit more vision. I think I think that would have been ideal, but this is still pretty good. Actually, it doesn't get that much vision. I lied. My bad. So yeah, I would have definitely preferred to have it like maybe here, so that there's vision. We have a Raider expand for both players or Raider on the way for both players this time. So a little bit of a mix up here, but both players still sticking to Rax. But yeah, that sort of 2 Rax build that we saw in game 1 is definitely much more of a like a stronger build against that Raider expand. So it's really interesting that both players are not going for that. A Worker Scout going to come in, is going to ski that Rax, and is going to go away to a weird location. And it's not going to go away. I like that he like went across in the sort, like it looked like he was going away, but then, oh, that is a mistake. Hello, elbarto? You see this, right? Yes. Okay. Is going to try to go for a tower. That is unfortunately in range, and this is going to be shut down pretty easily. From elbarto. He's going to flash away, gets the first hit because that Raider did attack the worker instead just before. So that is a good start for Joshers. His Raider is not going to be like... Oh, that's another big hit. Elbarto with a little bit of a mistake there. Going to take an extra hit unnecessarily. This worker is continuing to try to build the tower, excuse me, not the castle. If he puts his worker here and tries to build a house, that might have been a little idea, just to buy a little bit more time, remove that surface area and trap the worker in that little nook and cranny there. But it looks like Joshers is going to be forced to get out of the way with that worker. And yeah, he's just going to call it quits here. Good worker pulled by Elbarto here, making sure that he wants to absolutely hold this with no doubt. Didn't lose a single worker either, so great hold. Was looking a little bit dicey when he took those 2 extra shots that he didn't really need to. But yeah, it's okay. Good hold by Elbarto, and we're going to head on from there. Castle going up for both players. The third Raider being done for both players as well. A little bit of a 3-on-2 at the moment. Elbarto will be able to capitalize. He can definitely flash on that. Double flashes away as well. Only a single flash, actually, excuse me. But it is looking like Josh is just barely able to escape with that. I do like this bird on the way for Elbarto on this map as well. You know, you're a little bit pinned behind in your base because of these Raiders. Yes, you're also playing Raiders, but you're a little bit behind, so that's okay. I do like that. Ooh, big flash in. Barely doesn't get that Raider in time. Is going to escape with, I believe, 13 health it had. Is going to be forced to pull more workers. Good flash forward, doesn't quite get everything. Needs to pull back and let those workers tank. Would like to see a little bit of better micro here, just right-clicking onto those mines to get a better surround. Not going to be able to do that, though. This is a little bit dicey, but Josh just thinks, okay, with the workers here, I'm just going to leave. Okay, back to the bird idea, though. The bird is actually really good on this map because, number one, you can scout, but you can also put it like directly on this ledge. There's this little double high ground here where it can absolutely just hide from archers or anything while getting a really good view of this area. You can see most move outs and stuff like that. Elbarto building a preemptive tower. I kind of don't mind this because he can cancel it once he sees this castle going up. I think that's exactly what he will be doing. I do like this workshop here. Maybe he could have tried to hide it in the main a little bit instead. These Raiders going to try to come in and snipe a worker or two. Is instead going to be forced to flash out. Elbarto could have chased that a little bit, I feel like. Maybe he could have tried to snipe a Raider. But no, instead is just gonna stay a little bit passive. And yeah, I would like to see Elbarto cancel it, but this tower, but it looks like he is not gonna do that. Instead, just gonna chill. This worker for Josh's looks like it's trying to take a third base, but instead changes his mind after being scouted by the bird. Also, Elbarto throwing down an advanced workshop, so it looks like we are gonna have catadrops on the menu very soon. Josh is going to throw down a workshop of his own. That bird, of course, did not see it quite yet because it was forced back by these archers here. So Josh is going to say, okay, I'm going to go for the catadrop of my own, it looks like. He did scout the workshop, but didn't quite see the advanced workshop. I think he kind of knows that's what's going to happen. Catadrops are really good on this map for this low ground over here, going to be able to take down this natural base and rain fire. And you can kind of do the same thing over here on the high ground here with this third base. Raider's going to flash in to try to get that worker. Is barely going to be able to get that. Very nice. Where are the Raiders of Josh's? They're still on the other side of the map, not getting any damage because of that actually tower. So this tower actually kind of freeing up the ability for these Raiders to go across the map. But if they are caught out in the open to these Raiders, they're going to go down pretty easily as well. So something to be aware of. Josh is going to throw down a third base, and he's going to be a little bit ahead economically, but we'll see if Elbarto's catadrop is going to be able to even that up a little bit. Looks like Elbarto is now going to be able to scout this Rax, perhaps. Might be able to take down a free archer, but instead does go to the other side. Going to miss that archer, it looks like. This bird's still doing a little bit of scouting. Does confirm that that's castle timing, which is very nice. And this archer is going to get caught. Yeah, very nice pick off out of Elbarto. And actually, with that information, you should probably know approximately where that proxy Rax is. All right, so we have this cattle drop almost going to be on the way. This is also a very nice move out of elbarto. I feel like this might be, I might be reading a little bit too much into this, but once elbarto saw that archer, he was like, he knew that the racks would have been around this area, and he purposely avoids that area because he thinks Joshers is going to try to clear that area as well. Will this be in vision? No, not quite. So this cattle drop is going to go across the map without being scouted unless this... Okay, never mind, this Rax does see it, and that means Joshers is going to pull all those archers back to try to defend, but they are still going to be a little bit out of position. Here's that cattle drop. We'll see how much damage that's going to do. We have the first ballista coming up, but it's not quite ready just yet, and this has potential to do a lot of damage. These raiders going to come in and try to start working on this racks. Maybe that might not be the best idea. These racks, yeah, probably just should have aid moved. These is going to be a free kill. At the same time, this cattle drop trying to do a little bit of damage. Does need to flash those out. Yes, indeed, that does happen. elbarto going to drop into the main as well. Does need to Q fire on those workers. There's a good shot. Does weaken 2 of those workers. Does get 1, does get 2, so a good start so far. But remember, Joshers does have a third base, elbarto does not, so this needs to do more damage. It's done quite a bit, needs to do still more, I think. Right now he has a 5 worker advantage, but that can be easily rectified with just a little bit of macro. So at the same time, we have another cattle drop going across the map. elbarto trying to do his best to multitask, attack in different locations. Does need to be careful about this airship, excuse me, because these archers are trying to chase it down. This could be a potentially huge kickoff. elbarto not paying attention, gonna lose this airship perhaps. That's gonna be absolutely huge. At the same time, a little bit of damage here, but does lose that airship. That is absolutely huge. That's something you cannot be doing if you're elbarto here. Gonna try to rectify that by doing a little bit more damage, but instead does target the tower instead of the workers, which is unfortunate, and I think Joshers has held that pretty well. That pick-off on that airship was absolutely huge for sure. Let's take stock of the situation again. elbarto has taken a third base, or at least is in the process of taking it, and we have a fortress on the way. I'm not a huge fan of this fortress just because you can assume that your opponent is going to go for ballista to deal with your cattle drops, and that means that your dragons won't be able to do as too much damage. We'll see if Joshers is good at this airship micro. Is going to do so well. It will not perfect, but is still going to be able to get it. And elbarto not dropping that. So that is actually 2 big pickoffs. 2 cattle drops going down after only taking down 4 workers. That is not enough damage. That is absolutely disastrous for elbarto, but good defense out of Joshers. A little bit supply blocked, was a little bit busy with his micro. But yeah, now that he's done and he's shut down all of that play, he thinks, okay, I can just go across the map and win now. I think that's a great decision. I love this decision of him just going across the map. elbarto probably should have tried to get a little bit of vision. Maybe he should be expecting this, perhaps, because he did lose all of those catapults. Because this is kind of like the default reaction that players will have. Oh, once you're done defending everything, you're like, okay, now it's my turn to attack, right? And this is a very sizable army. Let's take a look at the unit count, not the units lost. There we go. We have double the amount of archers, 12 to 16, as well as 2 catapults. So that's going to be hopefully enough to deal with the 3 yeah, okay, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong way. We have 2 catapults versus 3. One of them is still on the way. But yeah, this is going to be a tough hold for elbarto. It does have a tower here, so that is definitely a bit of a start. But it's not going to be very easy for sure. I like this house. Going to try to mitigate a little bit of that damage. This airship also getting some vision is pretty huge as well. Some big shots coming on to this archer. It's going to be really tough. One thing to note is that these raiders can also, if all the archers go down, these raiders can absolutely come in and clean house on all of these catapults. So far, it's looking like it's a pretty good attack for Joshers. He is spending a lot of damage on this castle and things that aren't quite useful, but that's a lot of archers going down to the catapult shots. The airship does fall for Joshers. That is pretty big. We have a lot of damage still going on, though. We still have 3 catapults and a handful of archers. Approximately 7, and this is so far is going to be really tough. I was saying that this was probably not a good idea to target down the castle, but looks like Joshers is proving me wrong. With the power of those catapults, he might be he might be able to get it. This castle's falling lower and lower, all the way down to 300-ish. Make that 100. This is going to be an absolute kill. And yeah, that was an excellent kill out of Joshers. I really didn't think he would be able to get that, but he did prove me wrong there. This is looking not so great for elbarto. He's still, keeping up in supply, but why is that the case? That's because there's a lot of infrastructure coming in for Joshers. He's got more racks on the way. He's got a forge on the way. He's got another base, a fourth base. So if this game goes on much longer, elbarto is just absolutely out of it. He's going to rebuild his castle and try to play from behind, but I think maybe the better play would have been just to say, okay, that's it. I'm just going to try to do a 2-base all-in with my 3 workshops and my racks and just try to absolutely kill you. I think he might have had an opportunity with that had he just said, okay, that's it, I'm just going to go across the map. Does need to target fire these catapults instead of these archers. Some good micro out of Josh is trying to dodge all of those shots, and so far he's been doing an excellent job. That airship falls a little bit of harassment with these raiders across the map. Does get a worker, it seems like, and stop that castle temporarily, but yeah, they're okay. Good flash away here. Very nice. I do want to once again say that this bird could be a little bit better. If it had been on this pillar, it would have been able to see that move out of Joshers, and maybe he would have been in a better position to defend it. It still would have been tough, but he would have had a little bit of a little bit prior knowledge, right? Some warning bells going off a little bit quicker. So that's definitely something. elbarto does have dragons on the way. Of course, Joshua still has... No, he doesn't. He actually lost that ballista. So, yeah. So it looks like this is actually going to turn out to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of Josh's here. Here's that counterattack. It's going to be a little bit late. I feel like this could have popped a little bit earlier before like these additional units come out. This had potential, I think, if he had done it a little bit quicker. But this is also a very difficult position to move up. It's going to go up a ramp into high grounded where there's catapults on here. I think this is going to be a bad decision if he wants to brute force this way. I would much rather prefer if elbarto says, this side isn't going to work. Just try to go around the other way. And these soldiers looks like doing some excellent job just baiting the shots out of these catapults. So far, these catapults haven't been doing enough damage. This is why you don't want to go pure catapults. You need to add a little bit of Gatling guns. An excellent drop over here out of Josh is going to get the full surround, and this is an absolute crush. This is a rout of those catapults. Yes, there's a dragon on the way, but that's not going to be enough. I think this might basically be it. Josh's did pretty well. Absolutely held onto those, or absolutely held the cata drops very, very well, and then attacked with a counterattack. Absolute devastation there, and elbarto was just behind from there. His opportunity to try to do for a counterattack, I don't think it worked out quite well, and I think it was a little bit too delayed. This is a little bit of a good fight, potentially. I could have used those caltrops a little bit, but unfortunately not able to do so. Good target fire out of Joshers. Going to try to target down that catapult. Is going to get it at the end there. And yeah, I feel like elbarto needed to do a little bit more with those catapults, like target fire-wise. And I feel like he had a lot of them, but he didn't use them as well as he could have. And with this army just knocking on the front door of elbarto, I think it's going to be basically GG. elbarto trying to get a 4th base at the same time, but it might be a little bit too late. That dragon falls as well. We've got upgrades for days on Josh's side as well. Yeah. It's a very nice play out of these players, but it looks like this might just be the end. This castle falling dangerously close to dangerously close to dying. I think I must have missaid that or something. I don't know. elbarto trying to throw down a desperation tower, but I don't think that's enough. A 5th base coming up for Joshers at the same time. Yeah. GG, well played. Good luck is called, and that does mean that the winner is going to be Joshers09. Huh. Okay. And... all right. That does mean Josh is going to play the winner versus of the match between Python and Diantep in the quarterfinals there as well. I would imagine it would be Python, but unfortunately, elbarto is going to be knocked out. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and we'll see you in the next one.